So this is a song by Oliver Shore. It's called A Song for All Seasons. Walking is healing. And during the COVID lockdown, I started walking a lot. like 5 kilometers a day. And if I couldn't sleep, I'd just walk till 3 in the morning in this park by my mom's house. And then the George Floyd thing happened, the Samuel Uko death happened, and an uncle of mine passed away from terminal cancer. And I was just in a lot of grief, and I started walking like 12 kilometers a day, literally. And then the unanimous voting down of a suicide prevention piece of legislation, after I'd been worrying about the youth all summer long because I don't know how they're doing or where they are, like I haven't seen any of them. I walked in some of my towns, my hometowns, and there was do not cross yellow tape on the playground equipment. Like they can't even go sit on a swing set. And I went to some stores in the north, and the stores said, take COVID seriously, keep your children inside the vehicles, no kids in the store. And I'm like, oh, they can't even go get a chocolate bar. Like, how are they doing? What's up? And I've been worrying about them. So then when there was that unanimous voting down of the bill, I was like, I got to do something very visible, very public to show them we care about them and we're thinking about them, and to stay tough. And the next morning, before I got out of bed, I called the MLA Doe Vermette. I said, I saw you on the CBC, you looked pretty hurt. And he said, oh, I just couldn't believe it. I was just speechless that they voted that down. I really thought this would be a bipartisan thing. Just a human do the right thing type of voting. And he said, no, they voted it down. There was 44 people, Tristan, that voted that bill down. I'll never forget that number. And I thought, well, don't worry about it. I'm going to walk to Regina. He's like, what do you mean? Well, I'm going to walk from Air Ranch to Regina, and then I'm going to do a hunger strike and like a fasting ceremony, maybe even a teepee camp. And he said, well, as your MLA, I can't advise you to do that. And I was like, that's fine, I get it. You can't advise me to do that, but I'm doing it. So I want you to know, don't be too hopeless. Don't be too discouraged, because we're going to do something, and something's going to be done. And he said, okay, that's good to hear. And he told me that after he had that phone call, all that heaviness was gone. It was like he had that renewed sense of hope. And that's what this always was supposed to be, the rekindling of the fire that is hope.
I will never forget June 19th, 44 SAS party members, government members, voted against a bill, a suicide bill, to help our province, help our people suffering. I will never forget that. The number 44. I want to say, enough pain, enough hurt, enough sorrow from suicide. It's time for our government to act and to support and to show people there is hope. With that, again, I just want to say to Tristan and the team that was around him, you are taking a powerful message. My heart goes out to you and to the families that are here grieving.
I lost my sister in 1983, and it's just like yesterday today. We never ever forget about our loss. We wonder each day if they were here with us, what they would be doing. Today, I know my sister has a son and grandsons, granddaughters.
Like the previous speaker's leader spoke, I too was affected by suicide. 2006, we lost our baby brother, Howard, to suicide.
Suicide continues to be a huge issue in our communities. This is my sister, Sheila Kim McLeod. She took her life in 2003. She left behind her 4 children. She was very smart, traditional, and had so much life in her, but she had no hope. to keep living. And I knew that if she had passed her dark moment in life, that she would have had a better life. But there's so many people that lose hope, and we need to give hope. And
we live in a small First Nation reserve in Fond du Lac, population of 900 living on reserve. We had another body recovered this morning, which relates to alcohol. I, as a chief, carry a lot of burden for my people. We're dealing with COVID-19 pandemic. We're dealing with suicide pandemic. We're also faced with alcohol pandemic.
I lost my husband July 8th. And these are my kids. I'm left behind 4 kids. As you can see, our youngest one is just turned 1. It is a losing battle.
My only son was lost. He got killed in 2006. And after that, we moved down to Saskatoon. And 11 years later, my son got depression. Dad, why did I'm alone now? He's keep telling me. He's not alone, my son. With me, we're still a family. It's hard, Dad. He told me, so hard. How could we make this change? And he told me, I don't know how we could do that. We have to be strong together. Stay off drugs, stay off booze. That didn't work. One day, March 22nd, 2017, my second oldest took his life. 24-year-old, that was really hard. I lost 2 boys in my life. It's not easy at all. Government, you gotta make some changes to our community up north. Big time, big time. See the young people here. We need to have a future for them, not bury them in our lives.
Something better needs to be done for our people up north. Because whatever, if it's money that's not being properly provided to our membership, then, is this money their lives?
This is not politics. This is talking about our lives, our kids' lives, our kids that are suffering. As parents, as a grandmother, as a great-grandmother, I have the responsibility to ensure that our families, our children, our elders stay together, stay united. We heard the message from Tristan, his story, his survival, and what he's going to do for next 30 days. He's not doing this to be a movie star. I talked to him this morning. He's doing this to save lives, save our kids' lives. And he's doing this to make change. That government sitting over there, that they need to reinvest and put funding to our cause.
I had this woman come here. She was very sad, and she's like, I'm so glad you have these photos. We need to show those people what's going on. We need to tell those people what's going on. And she was pointing to the Legislative Assembly. And she said, they need to understand what's happening. And when she was finished, I looked at her and said, they know. They're well aware. They have the statistics. They have access to all the academic papers and all the help that deep state pockets could afford. What they don't have is the motivation or the will or even the want to do anything. So this is for the public because they need to know. And they need to push people into the locus of power who aren't just there to serve our communities, our schools, our children, but the children. Because the children of the world are here now. Saskatchewan is a mass displacement of people. We're a global village. We're a diaspora. And we need politicians who stand up for all children. And we don't have that yet. Yeah. In the speech I gave when I arrived to the front steps of the Legislative Assembly, I said, okay, we're not confined by the pass permit system to reserves anymore. We could go to whatever schools we wish now. We could drink at whatever fountain we care about, whatever fountain we want to, but we have yet to desegregate the halls of power. It's still wealthy, straight, white men. That's where segregation matters the most. And it's time to desegregate the halls of power. All this music I have that was given to me by elders and like John Arcan and old traditional Métis tunes, some of them that haven't even been recorded, they all kind of mean nothing if I have nobody to give it to, because they'll carry it forward when I'm gone. And there was a violin maker. He put a violin in my hands and said, you take good care of this instrument. It's not yours. It belongs to everybody that's going to play it after you're gone. And that's how I feel about everything. I feel that way about our nation state, our establishment. I feel that way about all art and everything we human beings carry that we hold most sacred, most dear, we have to give to the next generation. And my concern has always been when I'm ready to give this heart's music to somebody else and put it in the young people's hands, will they receive it with an open palm or a white-knuckled closed fist? Because they're in survival mode.
There are many laws and policies that have been made across the streets, that have been made in Ottawa. These laws and policies are stated to be made for equality, to be stated to be neutral, but yet they have disproportionate effect and impact on Indigenous people, the First Nations people, the Métis people, the Inuit people of Turtle Island. Tristan's message that he carries on behalf of these people that have taken their lives, mental health, addiction, wellness. Tristan's message of our young people, of our families, needs to be supported and acknowledged and amplified.
There's so many people that lose hope, and we need to give hope. And for Tristan coming here and making such a powerful statement, and the relentless determination and the drive that he has, even walking through heat. You know, we had some heat waves, windstorms, rain, mosquitoes, like all kinds of weather. He weathered the storm to be here. And he continues to weather the storm to be here for 44 days. And the 44 days represent the MLAs that voted against the legislation to do something concrete about suicide.
We need to understand that we can bring constructive laws and policies, that if we work together, we can strengthen each other, that we as Indigenous people, we have value in our ways, in our beliefs, in our languages, in our ceremonies. We have value to offer society. We have value to offer Canada. We have value to offer Saskatchewan. We have value to offer our brothers and sisters of all races. We need to work together. We need to strengthen public policy. We need to support the voices of our young people. The ceremony that this young man, it gives us hope in our young people, their strength and their leadership to stand behind them and support them.
I say to the government, both levels of government, please, I say, I plead to you. Suicide continues to plague our communities. Please help us. Provincial government, federal government, please. Let's work together.
Enough pain, enough hurt, enough sorrow from suicide. It's time for our government to act and to support and to show people there is hope. With that, again, I just want to say to Tristan and the team that was around him, you are taking a powerful message. My heart goes out to you and to the families that are here grieving. We're in this together. Let's hold our government accountable for the citizens of our good province. With the leadership, I know we can do that. Thank you so much for being here.
When Perry Bellegarde came into this teepee, I said, Perry, you do a lot of talk about sovereignty and about self-governance and about we need more funding, we need more this, we need more that. But everything you're building, everything we're fighting for means nothing if we're losing our children as fast as we're losing our children. And whatever we build for them means nothing if we have nobody to give it to. So you fight as hard as you can for those young people. And everything you do should be for those young people. Because without them, we're wasting our time. Yeah. And he got it. He understood.
The national youth suicide crisis amongst First Nations people, amongst the young people, is 5 to 7 times the national average. And so, yes, there's a call, not only regionally here, this legislature, for new programs, new legislation to deal with suicide properly. You need to look at it nationally. It's got to be done nationally because this affects all 634 First Nations. It affects all of our people on reserve, off reserve, and urban centers. It affects Métis people, Dene people, Cree people, all peoples.
Our message to the federal and provincial government that 2.5 million you handed over to us was just a little bit. It was a good start, but we need greater investment. And talking to the chief and councillors and the band members and Tristan, your legislation, your suicide strategy is not going to work with us because you don't have direction, you don't have recommendation from our people. So what we're going to do is work with folks like Tristan and many others who are affected and hand them a bill based on our recommendations, on our protocols, our traditions, our language and culture. Listen and take the direction directly from the people that's affected, from our Fond du Lac brothers and sisters. You'll see positive results. Media, that's the message. Everyone talks of reconciliation. Everyone talks about the partnership. Well, we're going to put together a bill that's focused from our people, from our grassroots people. And if you really mean what you say when you say reconciliation, then here's going to be a piece of legislation built from our people, developed from our people.
And it's up to us now, as Assembly of First Nations and FSIN and Tribal Council and treaty areas, to put pressure on the decision-making peoples in this house here, in that house in Ottawa. So legislation in place to adequately deal with this crisis, to provide hope. And we've always said that education and awareness leads to understanding, leads to action. So Tristan, by what you're doing here for those 44 days, you're educating people, you're sacrificing, you're letting people in the world know that this is an issue. And as a young 20-year-old person, you've taken upon yourself. So we pray for you for that strength. We pray for you for that courage so that you keep increasing. Don't give up. Perseverance. And that's the same message to you, but to all the young men and women, all the people listening. Don't give up. You are special. You are loved. And you have a purpose. We've always said it simply, the Creator does not make junk. And He's created you. And you have lots to offer yourselves, your families, your communities, your nations, the country, the world. So that's why this is important. This message of hope.
I met a Dene elder. His name is Alex Janvier, and he's the last surviving member of the Indian Group of Seven. That was Norval Morceau, Daphne Ochig, Alex Janvier, Gabriel Sanchez, and others. And he and I had a visit. I went to see his art gallery in Cold Lake, Alberta, and he lives there. And his wife called him over when I was seeing his paintings because I play the fiddle. I brought my fiddle, and he loves fiddle music. So he came over, I fiddled him a song, and he said, "Let's go to my studio." And he walked me down the road to his studio, and I sat at his painting desk with paintings in progress. And he started a painting as he was talking to me and visiting with me. And we visited for 6 hours. And he said, "I don't paint for the critics. I don't paint for public praise. I don't paint for money. I don't paint for anybody but our young people." He said, because they're the ones who could understand my paintings, the children. And for some reason, the adults, they get to a point and they can't see it. And the older people, they get to a point and they can't see it. But he said, when I could see some young people who look at them and they see what it is. And he said, "I just want you to know that it comes from the heart and not from an intellectual place, because there's enough intellectual crap out there." And he said, when you play your music, it comes from your heart. Don't ever play from anywhere else, or when you come back, I'll kick your ass. And I promised him I would never play from anywhere else. And I thought about that for a while, about him saying, "I don't paint for anybody but the children." And I thought, that's who I play for. That's who my music is for. It's for those children that I've seen dance to it and big joyful expressions on their faces. It's for the children who were at funerals, and when I brought my fiddle out, they made a little circle and sat around me, and they just watched and they just listened to the music as their aunties and uncles grieved, as their families grieved, and they were just transfixed by the music. They are who I play for. And I kind of wanted to not necessarily slander our leaders, but to tell them, who do you lead for if not our young people?